Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas, everybody! This is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you in the month of December, since it is Christmas time and the holiday time, about Free Rein, the 12 Nines of Christmas. Free Rein is a show that's on Netflix. I've actually never spoken about this at all. I do plan on talking about this next year because it is a show I like. It's a cute, nice, like quaint, charming show about a girl who's American and goes over to England to like meet her grandfather and ride horses and stuff. It's just a nice little like teen drama about like a bunch of kids and like their horses. It is pleasant. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a lot of drama, of course, that goes on to it. And so this came out back in 2017 when I watched it on Netflix. I remember I saw like, you know how you're looking through the browsing thing and I saw like a black horse. I'm just like, is that Black Beauty? And like, no, it's Free Rein. I'm like, well, what's that? So then I checked it out. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool and everything. So to give a little context is what's going on, because this episode I'm about to talk about now happens after the end of season 2, and it only lasted for 3 seasons. And so basically what it is that a girl named Zoe, American, she goes to England with her mom and her little teeny tiny sister. Now, what's cool about Zoe is that they got her race right in the show. Normally when you see like a biracial black person, they just go as like black and both the parents are black or something like that. But over here, they gave her, or we don't know who her dad is and stuff. I don't even know what happened to him, but her mom is black, her sister is biracial as well, and her grandfather is white. Now, her sister and mom, oh, what are their names? It's been a good while since I watched this, so I had to like refresh my memory with like writing down their names. Now, let's see where the paper's at. Also, because like before I even talk about this show next year, I need to rewatch it. Yeah, I remember bits and pieces here and there, but since I've only watched this once in the entirety, it's kind of stagnated, so I need to get my bearings and rewatch it like again, you know what I'm saying? The mom's name is Maggie. Her little sister is Rosie. Now, what's interesting is that the mom, like I said, she's black, and the mom played, she was in Titan season 2. She was that one lady who helped out Lex, for who helped create like Superboy. I forgot that character name. Tess something, Eve Tess Monger or something like that. I can't remember. But this is what's interesting. The mom, who's like black, the grandfather they live with is like her dad, and he's the one who's white. So she's mixed. I have no idea what Zoe's like dad is. That was kind of interesting. I remember seeing it, I'm just like, why are these black people grandfather white? Are they like adopted or something? But then like, oh no, they're mixed. Okay, but Rosie, when she left in the second season, the mom, I'm pretty sure the mom would have stayed, but she had to leave too. Why? Because in real life, the actress who plays Rosie went to go on to play Raven's daughter in Raven's house. So of course the mom has to keep an eye on the little kid, so that's why the mom had to leave the show. Ironically, the horse, the main horse, the black horse I told you about, its name is Raven. Isn't that interesting? Because both Raven or horses, oops, can't say that. so anyway, and then you have Zoe's 2 best friends she made when she went there, and their names is Becky, and I forget the other girl's name. There's Marcus. I think in the first season, him and Zoe and Mia were all fighting for each other, like affection or something like that. But then Zoe ended up with Penn, and then so Marcus went with like Mia and stuff. Then he left after the first season to go to college, dropped out, came back in like the third or something like that. Let's see who else is in this show. Susie is like Mia's best friend. Mia pretty much just bosses her around, but Susie's actually pretty nice. There's Frank. He is the grandfather. And so I believe that's like everybody except for Becky's boyfriend Alex, but he doesn't ever do nothing and stuff. I respect the fact that she's dating a black dude. That's awesome. So with this Christmas special, it's an hour long, and for some reason they added 6 plot threads in this hour-long Christmas special movie. Now this is the second, well this is the first special. The second special is the Valentine's Day movie, and then after that came the third season. And so like, it's ironic, they mushed like 6 different plots all together and they all work somehow. Like I don't know how, but they do. But I just wish it would have been like a 2-hour thing. That way they could have room to breathe and have a bit more context and stuff. So anyway, it's Zoe, Becky, and Jade, and they head to Frank's place, and Frank's a little upset. He just got like a Christmas card, and for some reason we don't know why he's upset. And so like, they see his house is pretty like bland because, you know, Zoe left the summer to go back to well, she left to go back home to America, and then she comes back in the summer. Oh no, it's Christmas time there, so she came back in the winter or something. I don't know, I forget what time she comes back. Anyway, it's winter time, it's Christmas. Anyway, so she came back, and so she's with Frank, and of course the mom and sister ain't there, so they redecorate Frank's house with a lot of Christmas stuff, and it's a nice cute little montage that the girls have. And you know, it's like cool when they all finally get to hang out together because they had nice chemistry. But it's just so weird how Becky and Jade are always like sidelined and do their own thing in like the plot B of the show. And so Zoe is like holding one of his ornaments, and she drops it by mistake and it breaks. And so like, he tells her it's one of a kind, and she looks on the back and it has the initials OS. And so when Becky sees that, her and Jade, they're all like, oh my god, don't you know who that's from? And they're like, who? And they're all like, there's a legend around like town from this man who used to like make toys and deliver them on Christmas Day, original Santa. But he lives somewhere out in the cottage, out far, far, far away. So basically just a man who just like, you know, used to build toys for kids and give to them and put his initials on there. So they dubbed him Original Santa because of the whole OS thing, him building toys. So they get their horses and they head on out to like go see him. And he's just, and when he opens the door, the dude looks like Santa. He has long shaggy white hair, the beard, a big belly, some brown like overall pants, some suspenders that are red, and a white shirt. He's basically a mountain man who like lives off the land and stuff. And Becky's all like, Santa. Oh, Becky is like, she's blind. Like that. So like, Zoe shows him, she's all like, you know, I broke my grandfather's like ornament by mistake, and she shows it to him. He looks at it and he's all like, you said it's your grandfather's, right? And he just gets mad. He tells her, get away from here, don't you ever come back. And this is like, whoa, what is this dude like doing and stuff? But he tells them, you know, his name is not Santa, it's Owen. And that's what the O stands for in the initials and stuff. So they head back and they don't understand why he's being a grouch. And then so like at some point, Becky and Jade meet Winnie. And like I said before, Winnie looks just like Becky, and she's like so surprised, and Becky's like the new stable girl supposed to like help out and everything, because they're gonna have like a Christmas pageant where Becky's gonna sing and stuff. And so like, when it comes to Mia, her plot line is that her and her dad are back with her dad's new girlfriend. Her dad's name's Elliot. He's played by a different guy this time. And so like, because there were 2 different actors. And so like, his girlfriend is this stuck-up trophy wife type of person who's mean and rude. And so he gives all his affection to her, doesn't even kiss like Mia and stuff, and it's like upsets her and everything. Now, this is the point in time where you're supposed to start caring about Mia, which I'm like, dude, why? Did you not see how she was in the first season? Like, everything this girlfriend is giving to her, I applaud. Because Mia deserves some payback, man. She's nasty. She's like Regina George and everything, right? So Gabby, we find out that she is homeless for some bizarre reason, and she's living in the barn. Mia finds out. And Mia's all like, I'll keep this between me and you, but now you work for me and everything. Because Mia worked for like the dude who runs like the stable and everything. And so Mia's all like, now you personally work for me, and I want you to do this and that and this and that. And so she's basically just like her slave now. And Susie, she tries to like befriend or comfort Gabby, but Gabby has too much pride and she's ashamed of being homeless, and she's just being rude to everybody now. Because Gabby was like the second rude character in the show. But then that stuff started to change a little bit in the second season. So, Susie tells her straight up, I have tried to be nice and be your friend. And so Gabby tells her straight up, that's bizarre coming from you. You hang out with Mia and stuff like that. And so they leave each other alone and, stuff like that. And so what is it? What's her name? Zoe. She's home and she sees a card. That's the card that her grandfather Frank had read. And it's a Christmas card from his brother, Owen. Yeah. The dude from the mountains is like, or forest, I should say. Not a mountain man, like a forest man, I guess you could say. Is his brother, and she asked him straight up, do you have a brother? He's all like, I used to. We're like, well, yeah, I kind of still do. And then so she asked him straight up what happened. He just said they fell apart and they never spoke again. And he's the one who made him the ornament. So of course, being Zoe, Miss Go-Getter, she's gonna get those two to like reconnect and everything. And it's an interesting plot that happens on with that. So as this point is going on, Penn, I haven't talked about him yet. He is away and he meets Marcus and he picks him up, and they're supposed to like head back to the ferry to back to where they live at. But it's like it's snowing really hard and it's kind of hard. So they're having their own little side adventure trying to get back home. And they meet this family on the side of the road, so they give them a ride. Marcus doesn't want them to, but he does it anyway. They have like chickens and a family and all this other stuff. So it's one of those like adventure travel type things, right? And so like Winnie was in charge of like getting the Christmas lights together. And so she overloads the generator, and as Becky is singing her song, lights go out and all this other stuff. And so Winnie's like all upset, and that's kind of sad because she's a little kid. She's like one of those really like I can do it type persons, but she always fails, That's really sad because you type of people like that, and they really want to make like a difference, but they can't because it's like they're cursed to like be a bumbling idiot, And so Zoe realizes that Mia is using, what's her name? Gabby. And she doesn't understand why, because Gabby won't tell. And so, Zoe's like, let me help you if I can and stuff. That's the thing I love about Zoe's character. She will help anybody, you know what I'm saying? But I never did mention the whole horse thing, Raven. So the whole thing about first season and Zoe is that Raven was an unrideable horse. It wasn't wild, but it was untamable. And somehow the only person who, of course, who could tame him is Zoe. So like the thing, like I said before, the thing that's so great about her, even as like somebody who's being kind of rude to her or whatever, she will still try to help that person. And her and Mia do not get along. So but Zoe's also the type of person who leaps first without looking. So she heads out at night with Raven to go to her great uncle's house. You gotta give it, it's weird. Like the dude knew she was his like great niece, and he still treated her like crap and everything. And that was just like rude. But then she heads out at night. Problem is, it's snowing. A blizzard is happening. And for some reason, I forget, I think like Gabby sees her ride off and she decides to follow her and everything. It's a good thing too. So Zoe gets to like her great uncle's house, right? And he's like screaming outside like for help. So she runs, and I guess like his back went out or something like that. So she tries to help him, but he's been out there for an hour in the freezing cold. That's not good, especially at his age. You know what I'm saying? Like he could die of hypothermia and stuff. So Gabby come and they try to, well, first Gabby wants to get him inside the house, but you know, Zoe tells him straight up, can't, because he doesn't have central heating and there's no dry logs and everything. So they're thinking like, how are we gonna get him back into like the main part of town? Well, this dude is so old fashioned, he has a carriage. So they hook both their horses to it, and boom, they're just riding like Santa, kind of, you know, in the blizzard snow. Only problem is the snow is getting more dense and it's thicker, and now they can't see. They are completely lost and stranded out there. They're gonna die if they don't like find civilization or warmth. So Becky and Jade are kind of like, you know, where is Zoe and everything? We can't find her. They're like, well, she must have done something stupid again. And how she gonna see is at night. So they see like a bunch of Christmas lights in the backup generator. Generator's hooked up to like a bicycle. So in her white dress, Becky is on that bike and she's pedaling like crazy, and it lights up the Christmas trees. And then that's how Zoe and Gabby are able to see it. And then they head back into town. But you gotta give it up to Becky and Jay, man. They come in when they need to, and they can help people out because they're like very clever and stuff. They're like the best friends you always need in a pinch. So with Mia, nothing much is really going on with her except for the band that she hired. Something happened, they can't show up. Her dad boyfriend is still like sassing her and stuff. Yeah, I gotta say, even though they're still trying to make her sympathetic, I'm still not buying it. It's just, if you knew what kind of person Mia was in the first season and a little bit of the second, it's kind of like she's getting exactly her comeuppance. Like, this woman is like, this girl is like nasty. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's the typical stuck-up rude person. But then you see just how neglectful her father is, and it's kind of like, oh, so that's kind of why she is the way she is. So then you do kind of feel slightly bad for her, you know? And boy, they got a ruthless, they hired a woman to play his ruthless girlfriend. And she is mean. And, so, with Penn, his real name is Peter, by the way, he is still trying to get back to the mainland and everything, so he can't go through the ferry because something happened. So his friend Marcus tells him straight up, you know, throw some of that like Duke power and stuff. But see, the thing about Penn is that he grew up poor and a stable boy, and he didn't even want to be like take up the reins of Duke, but he later did it, you know what I'm saying, to help his father out and stuff. And so he doesn't really want that title, but he threw around his power in this episode and made them take him back to the mainland and stuff. So back with Zoe, she is with her grandfather and Owen. And speaking of her, the actress, Jalen, is funny because there's an interview with her on YouTube where she says that she really wanted to be on this show because before this show, like her acting resume isn't that big. And now she's on another show now, but she's like one of the main cast members. But before this, like her resume wasn't like that huge and stuff. So she lied saying that she's proficient in riding horses and everything. She didn't have a clue. But when she got over there, it was too late because she won them over with like her acting and stuff. And so they had to teach her how to ride. And when you see her ride, she looks like she's been doing this all her life. So she learned quickly and everything. And there's another funny story with her. She wears wigs, and so like one of her, no, weave, I think it was weave or a wig, or it was, oh, no. It was a ponytail she had attached to her head. And when she was riding one day, it just like fell off. And she said she was like so embarrassed and stuff. So she gets like both men to talk it out. And you would not believe what they fought about. So apparently what happened was Frank, he's pissed that Owen went to go build toys and stuff, but he left the family business. And Owen said he didn't want to be poor like their father, training horses and all this other stuff. And so he wanted to make something in his life and be rich, and that's what he did. But then it's weird, after he became rich, he just went to go live in a cabin in like the forest and stuff. And so then it turned out of nowhere, they threw this line in. Frank stole Owen's girlfriend. And stuff. And I wonder if the girlfriend was Zoe them grandmother. I have like no idea, because they don't really go into detail. This is why I wish it was 2 hours so they could have went into more detail. And so the thing is, they still send each other cards and everything. He said he built him that ornament out of like love and everything, you know. So they reconcile and they kumbaya out, but then that's really all we see of them in the entire episode. So then it gets back to the little pageant banquet, the banquet thing that Mia is throwing. She's throwing like a ball, and it's really elegant dresses and like this and that. Zoe tells Gabby, you know, you should go and everything. And so she's like, but I wasn't invited, and you know how what's the face doesn't like me. And so whatever, like Zoe just dolls her up with a bunch of makeup, and they get like these nice gowns, and they go there and stuff, you know. And of course, Mia's not happy. And so like Alex and Susie, who really don't have much to do in this episode, they realize they need a band. And who can sing? Becky. Now the actress who plays Becky, she does have a very lovely singing voice. And she basically just keeps singing the same song all this like movie, like the 12 something of Christmas or whatever. And then so she fills in for the band, and you know, that helps out Mia and stuff. But then Mia still being a brat when she finds out that her dad's girlfriend is now engaged and everything, because they've been shopping for rings. She decides to take it out on Mia, who crashed their party, and she lets it be known that she's homeless. She is upset and she runs off. And so Zoe is like, she couldn't believe it because she didn't know what was upset with Mia. And so when she chases after her, Mia, of course, Gabby hops on her horse. There's horses all around, man. And rides off and everything. And then the most cliché thing happened. When the horse galloped away, it lost one of its shoes, like a Cinderella thing. So, like, Zoe, she finds Gabby packing her stuff in the barn, and she literally says, "You are a Cinder, Gabby," and everything. And so they talk it out, and then they agree to, well, Zoe agreed to let Gabby live with her and her grandfather and stuff. Now, things get rocky between them in the 3rd season. This show is good in the 1st and 2nd season, but there's just something in the 3rd that did not click. They created this new subplot about wild horses, which was kind of interesting, to tell you the truth, you know, because they're domestic horses and they're wild horses. And but then, you know, something just didn't click. It just really didn't. And then of course they added like that they added that cousin of Zoe's, and his subplots all going around of him always messing things up. And it was strange because there was like this thing going on with him that they really didn't go into detail about, and it was just weird. But each season is like 10 episodes, and of course these 2 movies. And so like, yeah. So then what is it? Penn shows up, and him and Zoe, they're like kumbaya and everything. Everybody's having a good time. And then Elliot, Mia's father's girlfriend, is berating her in front of everybody, and then Elliot just shows up to hear everything, and he's all like, "Oh, we're done because nobody talks to my daughter like that." So then later, Mia apologizes to Gabby. Everybody's kumbaya for like Christmas and everything, and you know, it's just like it was a really good Christmas special. I'm surprised they had so many different plot threads in this 1 hour long thing, and somehow they all like blended together like perfectly and stuff. And then of course at the end, like, you know, Frank is all like, my brother had to leave, and he fixed the ornament, and Becky's all like, well, duh, he's leaving to deliver gifts because he's Santa. So she still believes that crap. She is so blonde. And stuff. Oh boy, I swear. But yeah, I think y'all would really like enjoy this like little Christmas special that they had, and it was like really enjoyable. It's a really enjoyable series, you know. Bah humbug, that was a good episode. All right, everybody, I'll talk to you later. Bye.